And action. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me here again, Moritz from NV Rugby, and on today's episode we are covering the last weekend's rugby games, obviously. Starting off with the Stormers versus Leinster, and then moving on again to the Bulls versus Lions, the Derby as they called it, facing off the two local teams at the Lions local stadium of the Emirates Park. And then, of course, we've got the Sharks versus Cardiff. So it's quite a full program, although it's only sort of three games that I'll be reviewing for this week. So let's get into it. And action. Well, guys, as we start off this week with the Leinster versus Stormers game, not exactly unexpected result there. 36-12 loss to the Stormers. Like I said, yeah, not unexpected. The Stormers is a very good team. One of the best teams within the URC. Unfortunately, the ball handling errors just always counts against them. The ill discipline on their side. Again, Dion Free receiving a warning from the referee that just too many penalties are being committed. And of course, the ball handling errors that they keep on going for forward attacks. Whenever they try to convert that to a backline attack, ball fumbling, throwing the ball into absolute no man's land. Players not actually being there to support their teammates, and it all just kind of have the negative impact that you're not looking for in such a world-class game. So yeah, whenever the Stormers actually did manage to go for a successful backline attack, it would be some fantastic ball handling backline attack. Taking into consideration the very first try by the Stormers, performed by Ben Loader, off a fantastic long pass from Leland Zas. So it's kind of disappointing to see the entire rest of the game kind of falling flat there. And yeah, Labok being on form, whenever he did manage to kick a conversion, only one conversion, which is the from the try off of Ben Loader. Then we have Ivan Ruiz also right in the 78th minute, basically powering through a lot of Leinster defenders to score his try. On the Leinster side, absolute point scoring fest. These guys were completely on form, and I'm not too sure if that's due to the presence of some really strong international rugby personalities such as James Lowe, from the Irish international team, and then of course we had one Springbok and one All Black in the team as well. I'm of course talking about Ergie Snyman from the South African owned side, and then Geordie Barrett from the All Blacks. Also a very well established young man, very nimble, very dexterous, and agility. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling over my words here. A lot of agility for a big man. I mean, he's not of small stature. Usually made some massive success for the All Blacks as their inside and outside centers, and just all-round really polished player. So yeah, absolute fantastic addition to the Leinster team there. Geordie himself not really scoring any tries, but had his hand on so many on creating opportunities to score tries. And then of course we cannot move on without mentioning Achilles Sneeman's fantastic over the top offload, and then which basically saw the path forward for Dan Sheehan to score his first try within the game. Absolute fantastic performance by these lads. Honestly, it's just wow. You can see why they are the current URC #1 on the log. Yeah, we have the little bit of controversy within the game between the Stormers and Leinster as well. Dion Fourie kind of later complained with the referee of what he described as unsportsmanlike conduct on the side of Leinster. Refused to name names. He did speak about it in his interview after the game, but I don't think he needs to name names. I think we all can kind of deduce who he really was referring to there. Apparently, during the Stormers lineouts, obviously shouting number sequences towards Joseph Weber, for him to determine where he should be focusing his throws on, either the front, back, or middle of the lineout. And then someone or some people would start shouting a series of random numbers over the Stormers lineout, which kind of would become confusing to Joseph Weber whenever he's trying to throw in the ball. And Dion Fourie took a bit of umbrage to it, went to the referee to complain, but quite rightfully the referee told him he can't do anything about it. It's not against the rules. There's no law in rugby prohibiting from the opponents from doing it. So unfortunately, the score stands as it is, 36-12 to the Leinster Big Boys. Well, next up we have the Emirates Lions versus the Vodacom Bulls in what has now become a more kind of as a term of endearment type of, becoming known as the Vodacom Derby. Played off within the Emirates Airline Park on the Lions' home ground, and they've really been hoping to kind of for a bit of a better result here. For the past couple of seasons, they haven't really had good luck against the Bulls on their home soil within the URC, so they were kind of hoping to kind of break that chain of bad luck. Unfortunately not to be, with a 22-35 victory for the Bulls. I think Jake White can be really proud of his boys there. Played absolutely fantastic game, although the Lions didn't do that badly. I mean, from a 22 score, at 35 is only basically a 13-point difference. So, the Lions can be proud of themselves. They didn't really just go lie down and give up. They really gave it their all. They gave a really good run as well. The Bulls just basically outperformed them every step of the way. Sergio Peterson converting a fantastic try or offload to David Creel to get a fantastic try right at the beginning. That all was made possible by a cross kick by Buddha Chamberlain. Buddha Chamberlain also be extremely fantastic with his goal kicks. He's I think only converted one try though, but absolutely fantastic with his penalty goals, scoring about 2 of those, and then his cross kicks. Really, fantastic performance for those. Van der Merwe or David Creel then basically taking over the goal kicking responsibilities within the second half, converting Kubus Visa's try, and then also Kusia, failing unfortunately to convert Van der Merwe right in the 69th minute. Which was basically the last point score for the game. Lions, like I said, didn't do too badly. Sam Francis performing better than most of the players within the team. Unfortunately, Sanele Nohamba not performing as previously in previous games. Gave it, but still, gave it his all. I mean, that's all you can expect from these boys. They perform their best. They do their best. Whether, you do understand that their best is not always the same. Things change, unfortunately, from game to game, as we do see. Sometimes players perform admirably, they perform really well, and unfortunately, sometimes they don't. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. You don't always plan for it, you don't always aim for it, but it does happen, unfortunately. I think the Bulls can really congratulate themselves. They dominated the game in almost every single facet, from scrums to attacking games. Possession was retained by the Lions within the last, more dominant by the Lions within the last 10 minutes of the game, at about 68% to the Bulls' 32%. But again, ball possession doesn't mean anything if you cannot do anything with it. Converting that possession into points is not always the easiest of things. It just basically is a bit more evidence of the Bulls' absolute fantastic defensive that they've employed themselves on Saturday afternoon. So when they closed ranks, they closed ranks. Lions just couldn't get through at all. And finally, for this evening, we're coming to the Sharks versus Cardiff. Also, absolutely fantastically exciting game. I mean, this is the kind of thing that rugby entertainment is made for. I mean, these guys, both teams, playing exceptionally well. Tom Bowen, I think he really can be proud of himself, scoring 2 tries within the game for Cardiff. Played an electric and absolute energetic game for himself. Even though he did receive a bit of an injury to the eye, had kind of half the eye covered. That didn't, he didn't allow that to kind of stop him in any way. Performing his heart out for his team. There was a bit of a controversy between Makazole Mapimpi and one of the Cardiff forwards. I can't remember what this guy's name was, but at a certain point, he did make a bit of sort of breakthrough. Mapimpi was waiting for him for the tackle. The referee blew the whistle, calling them back for, I think, a knock-on that happened. Mapimpi then basically moved in for the tackle. He grabbed the player by the sort of, with his head on his chest, and they kind of did a bit of a spin. Now, that would have been fine if they kind of just left it there, but then the Cardiff player then went and pulled his jersey over his head. And I suppose, like any other man would, Makazole Mapimpi kind of took a bit of umbrage to this. Bit of disrespect, I feel, on the side of the Cardiff player. And Mapimpi kind of responded in kind. They grabbed each other. They started, a bit of a tug of war there. That resulted with the Cardiff player first sort of, with Mapimpi's shirt still sort of wrapped around his hand, he pushed Mapimpi in the face. Mapimpi then reciprocated with a push of his own in the face. That looked a lot like a sort of an eye rake. But if you do run the footage back slowly in like slow motion, his fingers doesn't really make it anywhere close to the player's eyes. So I'm not convinced of any eye rake over there, and I don't convinced that there was, kind of anything more malicious than just kind of retaliating to what was being done to him. So a lot of people now calling for the rugby authority to kind of throw the book at Mapimpi, and I would just like to tell them, chill the fuck out. Okay, guys, this is 2 men that kind of had a bit of a heated exchange there. It does kind of get, in the heat of a game, when adrenaline is running high, frustration sometimes may be, going a bit high as well, and then players act out. I do feel that he, obviously, although the Cardiff player didn't do it quite maliciously, there was, from what I would think of, a bit of more disrespect shown towards Makazole Mapimpi which wasn't appreciated. So he responded in kind, and that was, I think, that's where it should be left. Kind of people chill out, sit back. This is rugby. It's a contact sport. These kind of things happen. Both teams obviously playing absolutely fantastic. Hendrikse was on form. The same with Lorenzo Julius, the high school prodigy. Some people call the boogeyman as well. Bongi Manambi scoring the first absolutely fantastic try. I mean, the drive that he gave, absolutely beating about 3 defenders to just plant the ball down on the chalk line, was absolutely fantastically done. He scored a second try, a first one in the first half, and then the first try in the second half as well. Scored by Mapimpi. Hendrikse obviously, doing very well with the conversions there. Mapimpi scoring the third try for the Sharks as well within the first half. And then a fantastic kind of finishing off by Job Penpe, just basically putting the cherry on the top. But again, Sheedy was fantastic with his kicks as well. Only converting one, unfortunately, the one try by Tom Bowen. Tom Bowen scoring the very last try of the first half. So I think Cardiff did very well. A 22-42 score isn't exactly what you would want to see. But I think they performed well. They played their hearts out. They really did. Try to bring a lot of strong counterattacks to the game, a lot of energy. Unfortunately, the Sharks, I suppose, kind of reviewed their defensive lines and strengthened it as much as they could. So honestly, I think the two teams can really be proud of their performances individually. And I don't think there should be any animosity. Guys, I think the fans, I feel, react a bit more strongly to whatever goes on in the field. And especially like something like this happens, there's always the want to kind of sling blame, the strong reaction by the fans as well. I remember a couple of years ago with the World Cup final between the All Blacks and the Springboks. I think the referee's surname was Bryce. Not quite sure of his first name, but fans went absolutely ballistic, not performing as well as a referee should. A lot of mistakes made, a lot of erroneous calls in that game. We just basically shot a lot of people's, including the management staff of the Springboks, shot their tempers through the roof. But the cherry on top, of course, was when somebody that shared the same name and surname as this referee, I think the referee was from either England or Scotland, but there's a guy living in Australia that shares exactly the same name and surname. He started receiving death threats, which was absolutely, amazingly funny. I imagine this guy's absolute bewilderment when he opens his email and all of a sudden starts getting all these, hate mail from fans. Which just kind of demonstrates to you how far people can go. And I think, a lot of people, sometimes we need to chill, step a bit back, and just realize that, things happen. Although there's a lot riding on these games, it is just it's in the spirit of the sport, and we shouldn't really be taking it that far. Also, in the last World Cup, Kobus, after the victory from the Springboks over the French, Kobus Reinach, obviously being a player for the club Stade de Francais, started receiving death threats to him and his family. From French fans. So, guys, I think sometimes we just need to take a breather, take a step back, and just really take a chill pill. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again, and for joining me every week for these videos that I prepare for you guys. not much happening with this coming weekend in rugby. This week there's been quite a few games played within the URC. No local teams performing there. We had some international, mostly international games coming up this weekend. Romania going off against Germany in the Rugby Europe Championship. We have the under 26 nations from Scotland facing off against Italy. The Six Nations, we've got France against Wales, and then of course we've got the Japan Rugby League coming up as well. Quite a few teams going against each other there. The PWR as well is quite live this weekend. The Rugby European Championship, we've seen Georgia facing off against Switzerland. I think this is on Saturday, and then Portugal facing off against Belgium. So there's quite a lot happening there. If you guys are interested in watching these international games, some of them are quite interesting and quite exciting to watch. So I can definitely recommend that as well. But so South African teams getting a bit of a break this weekend. There is some fixtures coming up, I think around about the 14th and 15th of February, where the Stormers will be facing off against teams like the Bulls. We've got the Sharks facing off against the Lions as well. So pretty much happening right about there, sort of from the middle of February on as well. So until then, guys, I'll still kind of be coming back with some videos here on the world of rugby. For instance, what's going to happen with Sasha van Komazulu. We haven't seen a return from him this last weekend. So what is the news over there? What can people be expecting, in the world of rugby, the international teams face, as we're coming on for the Springbok tours against Argentina and Italy coming up this July. From then on, going on to face the New Zealand and of course Australia as well. Just after Australia, we're done with the British and Irish Lions tour to them sort of run about July, August. So it's pretty, a lot of exciting things happening there. In this year, there's never a dull moment in the world of rugby, really. As we've seen this past weekend, things always happen. But thank you very much for joining me, guys. Throw me a like and subscribe in the comments field, and just give me your opinions. I always love reading your opinions. But let's try and keep it a bit more civil. I'm always up for a bit of civil discourse there. And if you look, we're all entitled to our opinions. We might not all agree upon people's opinions, but let's just keep it a bit more civil there. But I hope you guys will join me as well for this weekend. I'll be watching some of these games, some of these rugby games, and with a cold one in hand. But until we see each other again next week, guys, keep safe. Keep your friends and family safe as well, and I'll be hoping to see you then. Thank you very much, and peace out.